Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and welcome to the Mega Concept Revision series for PFRDA Grade A and IFSCA Grade A. In this series, you are going to revise the concepts through the MCQs. So I will be providing you multiple choice questions, the multiple choice questions we will be providing you, through which you can revise, as well as you will get to know and you will get to understand that what is your level of preparation till now, how much you have prepared, and you will get to know that what mistakes you are making in the competitive and in the competitive environment and in the limited time frame, what mistakes you are making. Okay, you will get to understand the concepts in this mega concept revision series also, and the difficult concepts we will be simplifying. Through this mega revision series, we are going to revise the economics and the other components. Okay, for each component you are going to get 3 parts through which you will get multiple MCQs. So this is very important revision series to check your level of preparation, to understand what mistakes you are making, to get the exam like questions or the exam level questions. Okay, so this is going to be very important series for all of you who are preparing for the PFRDA Grade A or IFSCA Grade A. Okay, and let's see how many of you are able to answer all the questions correctly. So give me a thumbs up if I am clearly audible and visible to all of you. Just give me a thumbs up and let's be more interactive in these sessions and let's try to give the right answer of the questions. Okay, so give me a thumbs up if everything is fine, if I'm clearly audible and visible to all of you. I hope you all are as excited as the team who is preparing the questions and the team that is going to be in front of you. So we are very excited for this series for all of you. I hope you are as excited as we are. Okay, so now before starting with the MCQs, there is a big surprise from EduTap that we have brought for you the free ebook. This is for the PFRDA Grade A 2025 examination, where you are getting the decoded syllabus, the detailed syllabus you are getting. So the syllabus has been given in the notification itself. But if you want to know about the subtopics, the extra topics from where the questions actually come, so for the detailed decoded syllabus, this is the free ebook that EduTap is providing to you. The link for this free ebook will be provided in the description box below. You just have to go there, click on the link, and you will get this free ebook where you are getting the decoded detailed syllabus. Okay, then here we have for IFSCA Grade A students, we have this ebook, free ebook, that is for the previous year papers. This is where you are going to get the previous year papers for the IFSCA Grade A, so that you can start your preparation with the guiding light, that is your previous year questions for the IFSCA Grade A. Okay, so I hope both of these guidebooks will be very helpful for all of you. So do download them and start your preparation in a very strong manner and start your hard work. Okay, now let's start with the questions. This is the first MCQ in front of you. So we are going to start with the easier ones and then we are going to go to the difficult ones. Okay, so let's start with the first question. Let's see how many of you are able to answer this question. Okay, so the first question is about the law of demand. So the law of demand states that there is dash relationship, or what kind of relationship is there as per the law of demand. Okay, so there is a timer also, so you have to give the answers in the limited time frame. So let's see, anyone who is able to answer this question? Okay, so the law of demand states that there is inverse relationship. The law of demand shows the inverse relationship between the price of the commodity and the quantity demanded of the commodity. Ceteris paribus means other things remaining constant. Yes, very good, Nilesh and Pallu. So the D is the right answer, that the law of demand shows the inverse relationship between the price of a commodity and the quantity demanded of the commodity. Ceteris paribus, other things remaining constant. So here the law of demand, it shows the inverse relationship. If the price is increasing, the demand will decrease. If the price is decreasing, the demand will increase. So this is the inverse relationship shown by the law of demand. As well as here you can see the equation. So the quantity demanded is equal to, it has a negative relationship with price, and this here, this is the slope that shows that with the change in the price, the quantity demand will change in the negative manner. Okay, so this is the quantity demanded depends upon the price in the negative manner. If the price is increasing, the quantity demanded will decrease. And let's say if the price is 0, then the intercept, that is quantity demand, is, let's say, 40. So if the price is 0, the demand is 40. So this is the intercept. So the equation of the quantity demand is, the quantity demanded is equal to intercept. Intercept shows that if the price is 0, what is the quantity demand going to be? What is the demand that is going to be when the price is 0? So when the price is 0, let's say the quantity demand is going to be the intercept, that is 40 here. Now there is a negative relationship between the price of the commodity and the quantity demanded. So that is shown by the negative, and here we have the slope, that with the change in the price, how much is going to be the change in quantity demanded. Okay, so this is the equation for the quantity demanded in relation to the price. Now coming to the second question. So now this is more application based question. Okay, so with the increase in the price of Coca-Cola, the demand for Pepsi will increase. So this will cause what kind of change in the demand curve for Pepsi? So here first of all we are talking about the cross elasticity of demand. That means the relationship between Coca-Cola and Pepsi. So if the price of Coca-Cola is increasing, if the price is increasing of Coca-Cola, what will be the change in the demand of Pepsi? What will be the change in demand for Pepsi? So if price of Coca-Cola is increasing, the demand for Pepsi is going to increase. The demand for Pepsi is going to increase, and it will lead to dash change in the demand curve. It will cause the rightward shift in the demand curve. The demand curve is going to shift rightward. Okay, so this is the idea, that if the price of Coca-Cola is increasing, with the increase in price of Coca-Cola, the demand for Coca-Cola is going to decrease. But with the increase in price of Coca-Cola, you will shift to Pepsi, because Pepsi is the substitute of Coca-Cola. So if the price of Coca-Cola is increasing, if it is becoming more expensive, you will shift to the Pepsi. Okay, so at the same price of Pepsi, because the price of Coca-Cola has increased, so with the same price of Pepsi, the demand is going to increase of Pepsi. Okay, that's why the demand curve is going to shift rightwards for Pepsi. So there is cross demand, that is there are substitute goods. If the price for tea is increasing, you might shift to the coffee. You will start demanding more coffee. Okay, because they are the substitutes. You can substitute one good with the other. Okay, if the price for McDonald's is increasing, you will shift to Burger King. Now there are complementary goods that are used together, like the bread and butter and the pen and the ink. So they are the complementary goods. Okay, now in the case of substitute goods, if the price of a commodity is increasing, the demand for the other commodity is going to increase. Okay, so here there are different factors that affect the demand of a good. The price is increasing, with that the price of X is increasing, the demand for X is going to decrease. So this is the relationship between price and demand. Now demand of X can change because of the income. Let's say your income is increasing, so you will demand more of X. If your taste and preference is becoming more favorable to the commodity X, so you will demand more X. So demand can increase or demand can decrease because of various factors. Okay, because of different factors like income level, the consumer preferences, the price of related good. If the price of Coca-Cola is increasing, the demand for Pepsi will increase. Okay, future expectation of price and income. Let's say you expect that in the future the price of all laptops are going to increase, so you will start demanding more of the laptop right now. So future prices, if you expect that in the future the price is going to increase for the laptops, so you will start demanding more of the laptops right now. Okay, so this is also what affects your demand for a commodity. The population size and composition. So if you have a huge population, the demand will start increasing for a particular product. Advertisements and the marketing, seasonal factors and the weather, and there are different factors that affect the demand for a particular good. Now with the increase in price, if the demand is decreasing, and with the decrease in price, if the demand is increasing, this causes movement along the demand curve. So whenever demand is changing because of the price, this causes the movement. But when at the same price the demand is decreasing, or at the same price the demand is increasing because of, let's say, your income, because of, let's say, the price of other goods, so that causes shift. Okay, so remember that whenever the price of the commodity, the current price of the commodity and the current demand for the commodity are changing, and with the increase or decrease in the price of the commodity, there is change that is coming in the demand, so that is movement, that causes movement. But shift happens when the price is constant, and because of the income, because of the other factors, there is change in the demand. Okay, so that causes shift. Now coming to the next question, that is, if the price elasticity of demand for mobile is minus 0.1, then the price of mobiles increased by 10%, how much will be the quantity demand change and in what direction? So try to answer this. So basically you have to use the formula of price elasticity of demand. So try to use the formula and try to answer this question. Let's see how many of you are able to answer this. So here the price elasticity of demand is said to be negative 0.1. The price elasticity of demand shows the percentage change in demand with the percentage change in price. So let's say if the price is increasing by 10%, so there is increase in the price by 10%. So you have to show that what is the percentage increase in the demand, or what is the percentage decrease in the demand. What is the percentage change in the demand? Okay. So basically 10% multiplied by 0.1. So that is going to be 1%. So that means 1% is the change in the demand. Now the demand is going to increase or decrease basically. So if the price of the mobiles are increasing, the demand for mobile should decrease as per the law of demand. If the price of mobile is increasing, the demand for mobile should decrease. So the change in demand is the decrease in demand. Okay, 1% decrease in demand. So the quantity demanded of the mobile phones is going to decrease by 1%. Okay. So here you can understand the price elasticity of demand is equal to percentage change in demand divided by percentage change in price. So there is going to be 1% change in demand, or there is going to be 1% decrease in demand with 10% increase in price. So this is shown by negative 0.1 price elasticity of demand. Okay. So this is the answer. So this is the formula, percentage change in quantity demanded and percentage change in price. Now this negative sign shows that if the price is increasing, the demand is decreasing. Okay, if the price is increasing, the demand is decreasing. And the formula can be reopened. That is, if you have percentage change in demand divided by percentage change in price, this can be written as the change in quantity demanded divided by original quantity demanded multiplied by original price divided by change in price. Okay. So this is the formula if you open it further. This is the price elasticity of demand. Okay. Now these questions are going to help you in phase 1 as well as phase 2. Okay. So this is going to be your integrated preparation for the PFRDA Grade A. So this is the idea. Now coming to the next question, the horizontal demand curve parallel to the x-axis implies that the price elasticity of demand is what? In phase 1, paper 2 and phase 2, paper 2, there are going to be these subjects, economics, commerce and accountancy, costing and such. No? So it is going to help you in phase 1, paper 2 of PFRDA and phase 2, paper 2 of PFRDA. Got it? Sanchika? Okay, so horizontal demand curve, the horizontal demand curve parallel to the x-axis, parallel to the x-axis. So this implies that the price elasticity of demand, the price elasticity of demand is infinite here. Okay. So this demand curve is the perfectly elastic demand curve. This demand curve is perfectly elastic demand curve where the price elasticity of demand is infinite or infinity. So here the answer is C. So here you can see that if the demand curve is horizontal and it is parallel to x-axis, the demand curve is perfectly elastic demand curve and the demand curve is like price elasticity of demand is infinite. Now perfectly inelastic demand, here the quantity demanded does not change with the change in price. So here perfectly inelastic demand shows that the price elasticity of demand is 0. So when the price elasticity of demand is 0, that shows that with the percentage change in price, there is 0 change in demand. Okay, there is 0% change in demand. So this is your perfectly elastic demand curve, perfectly inelastic demand curve. Then highly elastic demand curve shows that with the change in price there is higher change in demand. With the change in price there is higher change in demand. So if the price is changing, there is more change in demand. So this is highly elastic demand curve where the price elasticity of demand is greater than 1. Now less elastic demand curve, here with the change in price, there is very slight change in demand. So that is less elastic demand curve and the elasticity of demand is less than 1. Unitary elastic demand curve, here the percentage change in demand with the percentage change in price is equal to 1. That means this is unitary elastic demand curve. Okay. So I hope this is clear. So this is regarding the price elasticity of demand. So price elasticity of demand has the formula percentage change in demand with the percentage change in price, and the negative sign shows that if the price is increasing, demand will decrease, And perfectly elastic means infinite. Elastic means greater than 1. The price elasticity of demand will be greater than 1. Unitary elastic means that the price elasticity of demand will be equal to 1. Inelastic means that price elasticity of demand will be less than 1. And perfectly inelastic means price elasticity of demand is equal to 0. Okay. Now coming to the next question, there are going to be 15 questions here. Okay. So Kavya has a special taste for college canteen burger. The owner of the canteen has doubled the price of the burger. Kavya did not respond to the increase in price and kept on demanding the same quantity of burger. Her demand for burger is perfectly elastic, perfectly inelastic, elastic, inelastic, or unitary elastic. So try to answer this question. Okay. Try to answer this question, that if the price is increasing for the burger, but the Kavya is going to demand the same quantity of burger. So in this case, what is happening, that there is a percentage change in price, there is a change in price, but there is no change in demand. There is the percentage change in demand is 0. So that means this is which kind of demand curve? This is which kind of demand curve? This is perfectly, yes, very good. This is perfectly inelastic demand curve, because with the change in price, even when the price is changing, even when the price is increasing, the quantity demanded is not changing at all. There is no change in quantity demand. Okay. So here, this is the perfectly inelastic demand curve. This is the perfectly inelastic demand curve. The demand curve is not changing at all. The demand is not changing at all. There is no change in demand. So this is perfectly inelastic demand curve. Okay. No change in demand. So this is the answer. The B is the answer here. Next, so here we have discussed, this is unitary elastic demand curve, where the price elasticity of demand is equal to 1, where the price elasticity of demand is greater than 1, that is elastic demand curve. When the price elasticity of demand is less than 1, this is inelastic demand curve. When there is no change in demand, here we have perfectly inelastic demand curve, that is price elasticity of demand is equal to 0. Okay. Now coming to the next question, try to answer this question. You have to use the complete formula here. So an increase in the demand for tea. So the demand for tea is increasing from 8,000 to 12,000. This was caused by an increase in the price of coffee. So if the price of coffee has increased, the demand for tea has increased. So when coffee is becoming more expensive, you are shifting to tea. So these are substitute goods. These are substitute goods. That means here you have to use the cross elasticity of demand formula, and the cross elasticity of demand formula is that change in quantity of X with original quantity of X multiplied by price of Y divided by change in price of Y. So with the change with the price of another good, there is change in demand of some other good. Okay. So with the change in price of Y, there is change in quantity of X. So here use the formula and try to answer the question. So the demand has increased for the tea. The demand for tea has increased from 8,000 to 12,000, that is the demand is increasing by 4,000. There is change in demand by 4,000. Original demand was 8,000 multiplied by the price of Y. The price of Y, initial price of Y was 4.50, and the change in price of Y, the change that is happening in prices, the change is 1. Okay. So here the cross elasticity of demand is how much? It is 1.50 really? What is the answer here? Okay, Dhuni has given the right answer. It is 2.25. The answer is 2.25. So this is cross elasticity of demand that shows that with the change in the price of one good, with the change in price of Y, there is change in quantity demanded of X. And here the answer is 2.25. So here the answer is D. Okay. So this is the answer. So here you can see the formula that the cross elasticity of demand shows that with the change, with the percentage change in price of Y, there is percentage change in quantity of X. So here the change in quantity of X, so the formula is change in quantity of X, original quantity of X multiplied by price of Y divided by change in price of Y. Okay. So this is the formula. Now here you can see that in between the complements, if we want to see a single diagram that shows the complement, so here we can take the demand of X, here we can take the price of Y. So in the case of complements, let's say the price of car is increasing, the price of petrol is increasing. So the demand for car will decrease, because if petrol is becoming more expensive, the petrol run cars will be demanded less, or let's say the price of sugar is increasing, so the tea is demanded less because they are the complementary goods. Okay, so they have a negative sloping demand curve. If the price of petrol is increasing, if the price of petrol is increasing, the demand for cars will reduce. The demand for cars will reduce. So this is for the complementary goods, and here the cross elasticity of demand is said to be negative. Okay, because if the price of a good is increasing, the demand for the other good is decreasing. If the price of Y is increasing, the demand for X is decreasing. But now in the case of substitutes, this is for the complementary goods. For the substitutes, for the substitute goods, there is a upward slope cross demand curve. Okay, if the price of Y is increasing, that means let's say the price of Coca-Cola is increasing, the demand for Pepsi will increase. The demand for Pepsi will increase. So here the cross elasticity of demand is positive because with the increase in price of Coca-Cola, the demand for Pepsi is increasing. Okay, so here this is for the complementary goods. When the complementary good, let's say price of petrol is increasing, the demand for cars will reduce. Okay, if the in the case of substitute goods, if the price of Coca-Cola is increasing, the demand for Pepsi will increase. Okay, so complement good has a positive relationship, complement good has a negative relationship, and substitute goods has a positive relationship. So here you can see that the cross elasticity of demand, the cross elasticity of demand is going to be positive. In case of substitute goods, the cross elasticity of demand is going to be negative. In case of complementary goods, because the complement goods have a negative relationship. And when let's say we are talking about car and milk, so they don't have a direct relationship. So even if the price of car is changing, the demand for milk is not going to change. So even if the price of car is changing, the demand for milk is not going to change because they are unrelated goods. So in case of unrelated goods, the elasticity is equal to 0. The cross elasticity of demand is equal to 0 in case of unrelated goods. Like my t-shirt has no relationship with this pen. So cross elasticity of demand between these two goods will be 0. Okay. Now coming to the next question. So the elasticity of demand for luxury bag is 1.8. Is the demand curve relatively steep or flat, and will a fall in price raise the total revenue or lower it? So try to answer this question. Try to answer this. So the elasticity of demand, the price elasticity of demand is negative 1.8. The negative sign basically shows that with the increase in price, the demand is decreasing, and with the decrease in price, the demand is increasing. Okay, so negative sign shows the relationship. That's it. So price elasticity of demand is 1.8. So when the price elasticity of demand is greater than, when the price elasticity of demand is greater than 1, this shows that the good is elastic. Good has elastic demand. The good has elastic demand. Okay. So when the price elasticity of demand is greater than 1, here it is 1.8. So when the price elasticity of demand is greater than 1, so that means the demand curve is elastic demand. So this demand curve has elastic demand. With a slight decrease in price, there is huge increase in demand. So this is price elasticity of demand is greater than 1 in this case of the elastic demand. So here we have a flat demand curve. Here we have a flat demand curve. Okay. Now, if the price is decreasing, with the decrease in price, you can see with the decrease in price, there is a huge increase in demand. With the decrease in price, there is huge increase in demand. So with the increase in demand, there is going to be benefit that will come to the shopkeeper or to the seller. Okay. So the demand curve is relatively flat, and with the decrease in price, the total revenue is going to increase because the demand is increasing. Okay. So let's say that the price has decreased from 12 to 10 and the demand has increased from 100 to 500. So before the price into quantity was 1200, now the price into quantity is 5000. So that means total revenue has increased from 1200 to 5000. So with a slight decrease in price, there is huge increase in demand. Okay, there is huge increase in demand that increases the total revenue. So this is what you have to keep in mind. Here you can see that in case of elastic demand curve, in case of price elastic demand curve, the decrease in price is going to increase the total revenue because the demand is going to increase a lot. Okay, In case of price inelasticity, if the inelastic demand is there, that means steep demand curve. And inelastic demand shows that with the decrease in price, there is very slight increase in demand. Very slight increase in demand. So here, if the price is decreased, it will reduce the total revenue. In case price inelasticity is there, that means demand is not changing much. So if the price is reduced, the demand will not change much, and due to this, the total revenue is going to decrease. Basically, try to understand, if the price is decreased from 12 to 10, the demand is increasing from 100 to 102. So you can understand that the total revenue will decrease from 1200 to 1020 rupees. Okay. So you can understand that the total revenue has decreased by 180 rupees. So in case when the price is inelastic, or the price elasticity of demand is inelastic, the demand is inelastic, in this case, a reduction in price does not increase the demand much, due to which the total revenue reduces. So when the demand is elastic, reduce the price to increase your total revenue, and in the case of inelastic demand, increase the price to increase the total revenue. Okay. So this is the idea. So in case of inelastic demand, if the price is increased, the demand is not going to decrease much. So price is increased from, let's say, 10 to 20. The demand is decreasing from 100 to, let's say, 70. So you can understand that the total revenue, the price multiplied by quantity, so total revenue is going to, like, the price is increased. So before, the total revenue was 1000. Now the total revenue is going to be 1400. So you can understand that when the price is increased, in case the demand is inelastic, the demand is not changing much. So when the price is increased, the demand will decrease, but the total revenue is going to increase. Okay. So when the price is inelastic, increase in price is going to increase the total revenue. So this is the basic idea. In case of elastic demand, decrease the price to increase the total revenue. In case of inelastic demand, increase the price to increase the total revenue. Okay. Now coming to the next question, which of the following statement is not the characteristic of perfect competition? So such direct question come, as well as application based question also come. So I will show you those also. So try to answer this. Until now, any confusion anyone has? So which of the following statements is not the characteristic of perfect competition? So first of all, firms are price takers. This is the characteristic of perfect competition. Market revenue is equal to average revenue is equal to price. So in all the competition, in the monopoly market, in the monopolistic market, in the oligopoly market, in all the markets, the average revenue is always equal to price. But only in perfect competition, the average revenue is equal to price, and it is also equal to marginal revenue. So in the perfect competition, this is also true. Free entry and exit of firms, this is also true. Product homogeneity, that means the product is same. If in a market a product is being sold, that product is same. So this is also true. Imperfect knowledge, so this is wrong. In the perfect competition, there is perfect knowledge. Perfect knowledge. The sellers, the buyers, they both know that what is the current price, what is the product that they have to buy, what is the quality that they are getting. Okay. So there is perfect knowledge with the buyers and with the sellers under the perfect competition. So here the answer is D. Very good. So these are the factors, or these are the characteristics of perfect competition. You will be getting the PDF in the Telegram channel of EduTap. So that there you will get the PDF. Okay. So large number of buyers and sellers are there in the perfect competition. Product homogeneity, the firms are price takers. Free entry and exit of firms is present, as well as profit maximization is the aim for the firms. No government regulation or no government intervention is there in the perfect competition. Perfect mobility of factors of production, that means the factors of production, the labor and the capital can move from one firm to another firm. So perfect mobility of factors of production. Perfect knowledge is also there. Okay. So these are the important things. Now the next thing is that if you want to find the equilibrium, so equilibrium is where, or the product will be produced till the level where the marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, and the marginal cost cut the MR, cut the marginal revenue from below. Okay. So the equilibrium points are, So equilibrium point till the level where the production should happen. So that is where the marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, and marginal cost cut the MR from below. So these are the 2 points of equilibrium. These are the 2 points of equilibrium. So when these 2 points are met, there we have the equilibrium. So here you can see that at this point, the marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, and the marginal cost is cutting the MR from below. At this point, the marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, and the marginal cost is cutting the MR from below. At this point, the marginal cost is equal to marginal revenue, and the marginal cost is cutting the MR from below. Now, where do the firms have profit, loss and normal profit? So the firms have supernormal profits, excess profits, when the average revenue, that is equal to price, is greater than average cost, per unit cost. So per unit revenue is greater than per unit cost. Okay, there are normal profits when the average revenue or the per unit revenue, that is the price, is equal to average cost, per unit cost. Okay, there are losses. Losses are faced by the perfect competition firm when the average cost, per unit cost, is greater than average revenue, that is the per unit revenue. Okay, so these are the things that you have to remember. So for all the types of firms, the equilibrium condition is MC is equal to MR and MC cuts MR from below. But if you want to see the profits, supernormal profits are where average revenue is greater than average cost. Normal profits are where average revenue is equal to average cost, and losses are where the average revenue is less than average cost. Okay. Now coming to the next question, in the short run, a monopolist will have a shutdown point if it is producing a level of output where the marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. So that means there is equilibrium. So at the equilibrium point, if the price is equal to what? There will be a shutdown point. So shutdown point shows that here the firm should shut down, or the firm will take the decision to shut down or not. Okay. So at what point? So at the equilibrium point, the price should be equal to what? So that this is the shutdown point. Try to think about it. Anyone? So in the short run, a monopolist will have a shutdown point if it is producing a level of output where the equilibrium is there and the price is equal to average variable cost. Okay. So basically, the price or the average revenue is equal to average cost. This is average total cost. So here the firm is making the normal profit. The firm is making the normal profit. If the price or average revenue is less than average cost, so here the firm is making the losses. But this is not the shutdown point. The shutdown point, average cost consists of average total cost and average variable cost. Till the level of average total cost is getting covered and the average variable cost is also getting covered, so till that level the production will continue. But let's say the losses are happening now, the average revenue is less than average variable cost. That means even the variable cost is the cost of labor, the cost of the raw material, that is also not getting covered. So average revenue, that is the per unit revenue, is not able to cover the variable cost, average variable cost. So here the shutdown should happen if average revenue is equal to average variable cost or it is less than average variable cost. Okay. So this is the shutdown point. The shutdown point is where the average revenue, that is the price, is equal to average variable cost, because now the average revenue, the per unit revenue is only able to cover the variable cost, only the variable cost. As soon as the revenue further decreases and even the variable costs are not getting covered, that means the labor cannot be paid, the raw materials cannot be paid, so the firm will be in a very bad position. So this is considered the shutdown point, where the average revenue, per unit revenue, is equal to average variable cost. Okay, this is considered the shutdown point, because here the firm has to think about the shutdown. So here let's say this is the short run average variable cost. So this is the average variable cost and it is equal to price or average revenue. So where the average revenue is equal to average variable cost, so this is your shutdown point. This is your shutdown point. And here in the perfect competition also, where the average variable cost is equal to average revenue, the price or the average revenue. So this is the shutdown point. Here the firm has to think about shutting down, because if the variable cost further increases, the labor and the raw material cannot be paid through the average revenue. So here the firm has to think about shutting down. So shutdown point is typically a short-run position where the average variable cost becomes equal to average revenue, that is the price or average revenue. The per unit revenue is only able to cover the variable cost, average variable cost. Okay, so this is the idea. Now coming to the next question, try to answer this question. Such kind of question has come in your PFRDA Grade A examination previously. So try to answer this. So in which of the following market model each firm expects that the rival will keep its price constant irrespective of its own decision about pricing? So the firm is expecting that whatever change we do in the price, the other firm is going to keep its price constant. With perpetual, now in this kind of model, there is perpetual disequilibrium and the price keeps on oscillating between the competitive price and the monopoly price. So the price keeps on changing between the competitive price and the monopoly price with the limited production capacity. So here which type of model this is according to you? And here try to answer this. No one is able to answer. Is it Bertrand duopoly model or Edgeworth duopoly model, Cournot or Chamberlain or Sweezy duopoly model? According to you, which model it is? See, in the Bertrand duopoly model also, this is the same condition that the firm thinks that the rival is going to keep its price constant. But in the Bertrand duopoly model, there is equilibrium that is achieved between the firms. Okay, the equilibrium is achieved between the firms and usually the equilibrium is achieved near to the competitive prices. In the Edgeworth duopoly model, the firm expects the other firm to keep its price constant when the firm is changing its price, and there is perpetual disequilibrium and price oscillation according to Edgeworth duopoly model. So here the answer is B, that is Edgeworth duopoly model. Okay, so let's understand the basic idea of the different models. So in the Cournot model, the duopolist or the firms, they decide their output or they decide their quantity on the expectation that the other firm is going to keep its output constant. Okay, so the duopolist or the firm will decide about the amount of output that it should be producing, expecting that the other firm will keep its output constant. Okay, this is Cournot basic assumption. Bertrand has assumed that the firm will decide its price expecting that the other firm will keep its price constant and there is unlimited production capacity and the equilibrium that is achieved is stable. Edgeworth has taken the same assumption that the firm will decide its price expecting that the other firm will keep its price constant, but there is perpetual disequilibrium and the price keeps oscillating between the competitive price and the monopoly price, and there is the limited production capacity. So the difference between the Bertrand and the Edgeworth model is that in the Bertrand model, there is stable equilibrium that is achieved. The production capacity is unlimited, but in the Edgeworth model, the production capacity is limited as well as there is perpetual disequilibrium. So I hope this is very much clear. I have provided you the basic idea about the different models. Now, Stackelberg duopoly model is just like the Cournot duopoly model. That means Stackelberg duopoly model has assumed the Cournot duopoly model. But here the Stackelberg has assumed a different thing. Stackelberg has said that actually out of the two firms, that is in the duopoly model, there are two firms. So let's say firm A and firm B. So Stackelberg has said that when there are only two firms, let's say this firm knows that the other firm is working on the Cournot assumption. So one firm is the sophisticated, intelligent firm, while the other firm is naive. It is naive. It is foolish. It is thinking the Cournot assumption. Okay. So the Stackelberg duopoly model, this model was developed by the German economist Stackelberg and is an extension of the Cournot model, in which the Stackelberg has assumed that one of the two firms is sophisticated and the other firm is naive. The sophisticated firm knows that the other firm is working on the Cournot assumption. That means the other firm is assuming that I can change my output and the other firm will not change its output. So the firm B is working on this assumption while the firm A knows that the firm B is working on this naive assumption. Okay, so this is the idea. So it is assumed by Stackelberg that one duopolist is sufficiently sophisticated to recognize that his competitor, that is the firm B, is acting on the Cournot assumption, and only one firm is sophisticated, it will emerge as the leader. It will emerge as the leader as it knows the strategy of the other firm. Okay. Now coming to the next question, try to answer this question. You will get the PDF in the Telegram channel of EduTap. Okay. So in the Telegram channel of EduTap, for which the link is provided in the description box below, you will get the PDF. So in the context of oligopoly market structure, the kinked demand curve hypothesis explains the price behavior of firms. Which of the following statement is incorrect? So in the kinked demand curve, the kinked demand curve is the demand curve in the oligopoly market. So in the kinked demand curve, the kinked demand curve demonstrates that any action taken by a firm in the oligopoly market, because oligopoly market is highly interdependent, okay, and there is reaction to every action in the oligopoly market. So the kinked demand curve demonstrates that any action taken by a firm in the oligopoly market will strongly influence the behavior of its competitors. If a firm increases its price, the rival firms will not increase their price because they do not want to lose the market, and that's why the upper segment of the demand curve is elastic. The upper segment of the demand curve is elastic for a firm. If a firm reduces the price to gain the higher market share, the other firms will also reduce their price because they do not want to lose their market share. So the other firms will also reduce their price, and that's why the demand curve, the lower demand curve is less elastic. This lower part is less elastic. Next is the kinked demand curve implies that marginal revenue is discontinued. This we are going to see. The kinked demand curve shows that the price of a firm is rigid. It is not flexible, it is rigid. So only the E statement is wrong. All the other statements are correct. So first of all, remember that if a firm is increasing its price, the other firms will not increase their price. So if a firm is increasing its price, it will lose a lot of its demand. So here is the price. If the firm A increase its price, it will lose a lot of its demand. Okay. Now if firm A is decreasing its price, the other firms will also decrease their price. The other firms will also decrease their price, and so if all the firms are decreasing their price simultaneously, the demand will not increase for anyone particularly. So demand is elastic and sensitive to the price increase because only one firm increase the price and the other firms are not following. Okay, and when the price is decreasing, the other firms also follow because they do not want to lose their market share. So that's why demand is inelastic and hardly responds when the price falls, because all the firms are decreasing their price to not lose the market share. Okay, now here the price is rigid. So the kinked demand curve shows that the price is rigid. The firm will not want to increase the price because it will lose a lot of its demand. The firm will not want to decrease its price because then it will not get much demand. It will not get the extra much demand. Okay. So it does not want to increase the price, or the firm do not want to decrease the price. It is not making the benefit in any of these. So firm will keep its price constant at this level, at the decided level. Now at this level you can see, now this is the average revenue. This is the average revenue. This is the average revenue curve, that is also known as demand curve, and this is the marginal revenue curve for the demand curve. Okay, so this is the another demand curve, that is inelastic demand curve, and this is the marginal revenue for the inelastic demand curve. So this level, this is discontinued marginal revenue because there is the break that is coming in the average revenue curve. So when average revenue curve is breaking, so this is the demand curve and this is the demand curve. So this demand curve, the upper demand curve will have separate marginal revenue curve. This lower demand curve will have separate marginal revenue curve. So there is a break that is going to come in the two marginal revenue curve. So that's why it is said that the marginal revenue curve is discontinued in the kinked demand curve, because the demand curve is having two kind of elasticity, elastic demand and inelastic demand. So they will have different marginal revenue curves. Okay, so this is the idea. So this kind of diagram that was for the kinked demand curve, this was given by Sweezy, Hall and Hitch. So they have given, or they have explained the kinked demand curve where there are two elasticities, the elastic demand or the inelastic demand, and they have separate marginal revenue that is discontinued. Okay, this is the idea. Now coming to the next question, so coming to this question, try to answer this question. So here basically you have to convert the GDP at market price to NNP at factor cost. So you have to go from gross to net. If you are going from gross to net, you have to deduct the depreciation, right? If you are going from domestic to national, what do you have to do? If you are going from domestic to national, you have to add the net factor income from abroad. If you are going from market price to factor cost, from market price to factor cost, you have to deduct the indirect taxes and you have to add the subsidies, because you are going from the market to factory. So deduct the indirect taxes, add the subsidies. So from the GDP at MP, you have to deduct the depreciation, deduct the indirect taxes and add the subsidies, add the net factor income from abroad. So here the C is the right answer, okay? So this is the right answer, and you can see the conversion from domestic to national, add the net factor income from abroad. From the net to gross, add the depreciation. Factor cost to market price, add the indirect taxes, deduct the subsidies. So these are the conversions that you have to remember, okay? Next question is this. Try to answer this question. So such kind of small numericals can also come. So try to answer here. So here you only have to calculate the NVA at MP, okay? You have to calculate the GVA at MP, because this is the value added method. Through the value added method, you have to calculate the GVA at MP, and once you calculate the GVA at MP, you will get the NVA at MP also. So what is the formula of the value added method? The value added method has the formula GVA at MP is equal to sales, that is value of output minus intermediate consumption, okay? So value of output is the sales plus change in stock, and then there is intermediate consumption. So this is value of output formula, sales plus change in stock. Sales is how much? Price into output. This is the sales. So 1000 is the output multiplied by the price, that is 30, plus change in stock. Change in stock is negative 500. So the stock has decreased, so it is negative 500. Okay, so here it is 30,000 minus 500, so that is 29,500. Okay, minus intermediate consumption. How much is the intermediate consumption? That is 8,000. So minus 8,000. So that is 21,500 is the gross value added at market price. This is 21,500. So now you have the gross value added at market price. So if the gross value added at market price is 21,500, you have to calculate the net value added at market price. So gross to net is how much? Gross to net is deduct the depreciation. So deduct the 2,000, that is the depreciation. So you will get the answer 19,500. The answer is, you have to calculate NVA at MP, okay? So the calculate NVA at MP, so that you can calculate by first having the GVA at MP. So GVA at MP is 21,500. GVA at MP is 21,500. And from that, when you calculate NVA at MP, so that is 19,500. Okay. So here, this is the formula. So GVA at MP is equal to value of output minus intermediate consumption. Value of output is sales, that is 1000 multiplied by 30. That is output multiplied by price, plus change in stock. Change in stock is minus 500. Minus intermediate consumption, that is 8,000. So you will get 21,500 as GVA at MP. From GVA at MP minus the depreciation to get the NVA at MP. Okay. So this is the answer. Now coming to the next question. So which of the following statement is incorrect, that you have to tell me. So easy question, directly by seeing the question you should be able to answer this. So net indirect taxes is indirect taxes minus subsidies, correct. The GDP at FC is NNP at FC, net to gross, add the depreciation. The national to domestic, deduct the net factor income from abroad. So this is also correct. Personal disposable income is your personal income minus the personal income taxes or direct taxes. GDP price deflator is your nominal GDP divided by the real GDP. So this is wrong. The fourth one is wrong. The D is the incorrect statement, because the GDP deflator is your nominal GDP divided by the real GDP. Okay. So the 14, D is the answer here. So here you can see that from the personal income, deduct the direct taxes, and sometimes there are miscellaneous receipts that you can also deduct, but directly personal income minus the direct taxes, this can give you the personal disposable income. If miscellaneous receipts are directly, like it is given in the formula, you can write this also, but you can ignore, because usually the miscellaneous receipts are very less in value. Okay, so this is the idea. Now GDP deflator is nominal GDP divided by real GDP. This is the formula for GDP deflator. Net indirect taxes is indirect taxes minus subsidies. Okay, now coming to the basic price. So in the factor cost, add the production taxes and deduct the production subsidies. So production taxes and production subsidies, they do not depend upon the volume of production. Even if you are producing 1 unit, even if you are producing 100 units, even if you are producing 1000 units, you have to give the production taxes, such as the stamp duty, registration fees you have to give, or you will get the production subsidies. So production subsidies, these are the subsidies given to micro, small and medium enterprises or the farmers. They get these kind of production subsidies. Just because let's say a person is a farmer, the farmer will get the Kisan Samman Nidhi. Okay, so Kisan Samman Nidhi, this is a kind of production subsidy. That is, doesn't matter how much the farmer is producing. The farmer is producing 100 quintals, 1000 quintals, but still the farmer will be getting the Kisan Samman Nidhi. So these are the production subsidies or production taxes that do not depend upon the level of production. So in the factor cost, add the production taxes and deduct the production subsidies. That is, add the net production taxes. So net production taxes is production taxes minus production subsidies. Okay, so you will get the basic price. And once you have the basic price, in this you can add the product taxes and deduct the product subsidies. That is the net product taxes. In the basic price, add the product taxes, deduct the product subsidies. That is the net product taxes to get to the market price. So product taxes, they are paid or received on per unit of product, and product subsidies, they are paid or received on per unit of product. Let's say the farmer is buying 1 bottle of fertilizer. They will get the subsidy on this 1 bottle of fertilizer. If they are buying 2 bottles of fertilizers, they will get the subsidy on each of the bottle of fertilizer. Okay, so this is the product taxes or the product subsidies that is received or that is paid on each unit of product. Okay, so this is the idea. The formula you have to remember: factor cost plus the net production taxes is equal to basic price. Basic price plus net product taxes is equal to market price. Okay, now coming to the next question, the last question for you all. Try to answer this question. Now, given goods are an exception to the economic principle of law of demand. The demand of given goods has dash relation with price and dash relation with income. So try to answer this question. Anyone? So basically, the demand for given goods has a positive relation with price and has a negative relation with income. So here, this is the right answer. The D is the right answer here. Okay. So here you can see that the given goods, they break the law of demand, because law of demand says that if the price of a commodity is increasing, the demand must be decreasing. That means price and demand have a negative relationship, inverse relationship. But given goods break the law of demand, and given goods say that if the price is increasing of a commodity, the demand of the commodity will also increase. Okay, so given goods, they break the law of demand, and only the given goods. So in the case of given goods, they have a positive relation with the price, but they have a negative relation with income. That means if the income is increasing of the consumers, the demand for the product will decrease. Okay, so in the case of normal goods, the income and the demand has a positive relationship in case of normal goods. Okay, in case of normal goods, the price and the demand has a negative relationship. In case of inferior goods, there is negative relation between income and demand. Just like the given goods, the inferior goods also has a negative relationship of the demand with the income, and they have a negative relation with price, the inferior goods. But in case of given good, they have a negative relation with income but positive relation with price. Any confusion, anyone? Now you have to tell me in the comment section below that out of 15, how much questions you have given the answer correctly. So how much marks you have got. Okay, so do tell me in the comment section below that how many questions were you able to answer correctly. So this is it for today, and in the comment section below, do tell me that the IS curve has a upward sloping curve, downward sloping curve, horizontal or the vertical curve. So this is a homework question, so that I can understand that what level of question I should bring in the next session. So do tell me that the IS curve, the IS curve, it is upward sloping, it is downward sloping, it is horizontal, or it is vertical. So what is the shape of IS curve? Let's see how many of you know, and this will help you to start your preparation for the IS curve, because in the next session I'm going to bring multiple questions from multiple different chapters. Okay, so do tell me in the comment section that which shape is of the IS curve. So this is it for today. Thank you everyone for joining the session. But before leaving the session, let me show you that if you go to edutab.in, you can go to the edutab's website, where you can go to the courses section and you can see the PFRDA Grade A courses. So here you can see the PFRDA Grade A courses as well as the IFSCA Grade A courses also. If you tap to PFRDA Grade A courses, you can get to see the courses for the PFRDA Grade A. Okay, so you just have to go to edutab.in. So you just have to go to edutab.in and you can go to this website, edutab's website, and here to the edutab's website. Okay, the network problem is there. So in the edutab's website, you can see the courses. Okay. Okay, so there is some problem in the website here. But if you go to edutab's website, you can see the courses in the courses section. In the courses section, you can see the PFRDA Grade A courses also, as well as you can see the IFSCA Grade A courses. Okay, in the courses you can see that what all you will be getting, as well as who will be teaching, what you will be taught, and there is the PFRDA gold course as well as the silver course. So for the gold course, what all you will be getting, for the silver course, what all you will be getting. Okay, so that you can see in the courses section. So this is it for today. Thank you very much for joining the session, and in the Telegram channel you will get the PDF of the session. So the PDF of the session will be provided to you in the Telegram channel, and the link for the Telegram channel is provided in the description box below. So do download the PDF. The PDF will be uploaded within 24 hours. And thank you everyone. Thank you for joining this session. Okay, and do tell me that what is the shape of the IS curve, as well as do tell me that how many marks you have got out.